How's everybody feeling? I feel like I'm DJing. How's everybody feeling out there? I'm just kidding, y'all. Y'all do know I'm a real DJ, right? This is my Clark Kent like job. Just want to share a few housekeeping items. Feel free to grab a beverage over to my right. Bathroom is down the hall to the right in case y'all need to do that. If you haven't already scanned tonight's agenda up front, I have it up here in case anybody else needs to track along. I've also included contact information for us, including our guest speakers and additional resources that we're going to talk about tonight. So, are we ready? Started? Okay. Welcome. I want to start out by thanking some folks here in the house. I want to recognize Community Outreach Coordinator Cruz Almonasi with Council Member Abby Kamen's office. Tonight's event is hosted in District C, which is represented by the council member. So if you can just raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you so much. And also want to give another shout out to the Director of Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, Nicole Irvin, hiding back there. She's been on some refreshment duty also tonight. So thank you very much for that. In case y'all don't know and you haven't been to one of these listening sessions before, I'm Gracie Chavez. I'm the founding music officer for the city of Houston. But prior to that, and I still am, a musician, also run a indie record label and just a bunch of other stuff. So that's the experience that's the experience that kind of brought me, here. And obviously being part of the community also makes or guides me, when we're making decisions about how to not just survive in the music industry here, but also or at least looking for opportunities to thrive. So I want to start by introducing one of our guest speakers. He's also part of the community. And as I mentioned earlier, I am a DJ, so, vinyl music has been, foundational for me in my music career as well. So I'd like to invite Joel Hoyle to the stage. He is the owner of 610 Record Manufacturing. It's the first, probably second vinyl.
Yeah, we're the first in 30 years.
Okay, and we recently got a tour of the shop in the East End, and I didn't want to leave.
I mean, if you offered to, turn the lights off, you could stay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you, board. Thank you, Gracie. Appreciate it. Thank you to Cactus for hosting. I actually used to work for Cactus when it was down the street years ago, so I always love coming here. Again, my name is Joel Hoyle, owner and operator of 610 Record Manufacturing. We are over on the east side of town, just off of Navigation in the East End Maker Hub, which is a small manufacturing hub. The folks who opened the Ion Tech Hub over where the old Sears used to be, it's them and a few other folks got together and opened this similar concept, but for manufacturing over where we are. So without that place, we wouldn't exist because specifically they have it set up to where there's lower rent to allow folks like myself who don't have just gobs of money to be able to have a chance to try to open a business. So part of my background is I grew up playing music here. So I was always that guy who wanted to have more infrastructure here for the music industry. So whenever the vote for zoning came up years ago, I was that dude standing on the table in the bar talking shit, going, "Yeah, we need zoning, man, because folks need to know where to go see music. You know, when you go to Austin and you want to play, everybody knows where to go. You go to Dallas, everybody knows where to play. Everybody knows where to go. So I was always that person. So music has always been a part of me, and just the business side of it's always been a part of me as well. So to open a record manufacturing business kind of put all that together. So that's part of why I wanted to open this pressing plant. And again, growing up playing music here, I wanted to try to have an opportunity to do something as I got old enough, as I got older, couldn't jump around on the stage like an idiot anymore, but I wanted to be involved in music and, do my part like I always do, is try to help people and help people in music. So making records just made sense. And I love it. I love records, period. But one thing I really wanted to do is to keep it where as many people as possible could have access to make records. So our minimum order is 100 records. A lot of places it's 300 or 500. And I understand why they do that, and a lot of it makes sense. But for me, I kind of just decided, well, I don't care. I want to have it minimum be on 100 records forever. If this goes, gangbusters and we're just making gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of records, we're always going to have that minimum, and we're always going to have that spot. Thank you. But we don't sell spots. We don't make reservations. It's first come, first serve, and from there, the only difference is just how quickly we're able to get everyone's artwork and audio in. But once your order is placed, you're in line. We don't do bumps. We don't do any of that kind of junk, which is, again, just kind of just the person I am. What else was I supposed to talk about? I had a list here. So I have to be organized because I will absolutely ramble about making records because I love it. Another thing that I wanted to kind of point out for folks who are considering getting records made, obviously selfishly I want you to because it's my business, but from an artist or label or perspective, you're going to make a hell of a lot more money making and selling records than you are with streaming. Unless you're a huge artist, you're not going to get that contract for a streaming company to actually get you enough money that's not, 0.0000001. I'm sure the head's nodding. We've got we've seen those checks before. Like, what the hell, But and because a lot of people have called and asked, well, do you do any style of music or anything like that? And the answer is, of course. We make records. We don't make music. That's your job. Our job is to help you get the best quality records that you can possibly get, that we can possibly make for you to turn around and have another tool to help you try to make a living in this industry. So on average, for 100 records, it would cost you anywhere about $14 to $17 per record. So from there, obviously, it's your product to sell out, so you set your prices from there. As you know, you can walk around and see, the numbers are all over the place. If you go out to go to shows, the numbers are all over the place. As that order quantity goes up, that cost goes down, which is more money in your pocket. Sorry?
Like a single run, or how does that work?
So I'm glad you asked that, because actually next on my list to talk about the order process. So I guess to touch on that real quick is when we go and do a production run, it's start to finish. However many records we need to make for that order is how many records that machine's going to be doing. We open with 2 record presses, so we can press around 1,000 or so records per day in about 7 hours. So if somebody wants 10,000 records, it'll take us about 2 weeks to knock them out. Usually packaging records up takes longer than it does to actually press the records. Because once those presses are going, they want to keep going. We don't want to start, stop. Once they're flowing, let them go, and they're happier that way. But once the production run starts, however many we need to make is however many we need to make. If it's enough to where we're not going to be able to finish them all that day, we shut down for the night, come back the next day, fire everything up, and just get right back on it until we're done. So we don't interrupt anybody's run once it's actually started. That's the last thing we want to do. if for no other reason, that's just going to piss off our customers, and rightfully so. I would be angry too, and we don't want to do that. But the overall process is whether you're an artist's label or et cetera, you would bring your artwork and audio to us, and we can handle it from there. If you wanted to go and use your own printer, that's perfectly fine with us. But we wanted to have it to where it's just like a one-stop shop to where you don't have to worry about anything other than making the best recording you possibly can get. So if you bring us your artwork, your audio, we'll take it from there. What comes back to us on the audio side is stamper plates, and that's what we use to press your actual records. So the record presses themselves are kind of like a high-powered waffle iron, and those stamper plates are, it's a metal record to an extent, you could say. It's a metal part that has the sound grooves on it, that presses into the plastic, and actually puts the sound grooves on the plastic itself. So that's what we get back is those stamper plates on the audio side, on the artwork side, whatever artwork you want. If you can think of it, we can get it printed. So that's inserts, posters, booklets, anything you can think of, we can get it done. So that's what we get back on the print side is whatever your record cover assembly is. And from there, we'll make your test pressing. One cool thing about being local is you can come in and listen to your test pressing at the plant. So we can give you a nice tour of the place. You have the opportunity to do promo, photo, video, and stuff like that. You can come in, you can push the button on the machine yourself, film yourself doing it, put that on your social media, everything like that. If you're into it, you can come in, autograph jackets, stuff like that, so that you got a giveaway for your customers there, another marketing opportunity for you there. But most importantly is you can come and listen to that test pressing and get a really quick, easy idea of what your record's gonna sound like. And people so far have been really happy on the spot and be like, yeah, we're happy, let's go do it. But I always send people home to hang out to it, live with it for a couple of days, take it, listen to different record players, give it to people who don't even listen to music. Get their opinion, get that raw opinion back, and then come back to us and say yes or no. So first thing in the ordering process is give us your art and audio. We'll take it from there. You come in, listen to your test pressing. If you're happy with it, we'll go to that production run. And then from there, you'll have a retail ready record, and we're out the door. So, I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to ramble, so thank you, appreciate it.
All right, Joel, tell these nice folks here where they can find you, and maybe I think you've put some stuff in the chairs. Hopefully, they can take home. Yes. That card has basically the process that I just walked through, so that's something you could take home with you. And there are more at the front in case you didn't get one out of a chair. And you can always come to me as well. But our website is 610record, MFG, short for manufacturing.com. And that's on there as well. So more than happy to help. Yes.
I got a question. On the website, you mainly put out that you do 12-inch records.
Yeah.
Do you, or maybe in the future, will you have a process to print out 45 records?
Eventually, yes. That was actually a struggle that I had back and forth with and tried to find every way to be able to afford to do them both right out the gate. We just couldn't afford it. It'll cost us about $10,000 to get the component for the presses, for each press that is, to be able to press 7-inch records, 45s, which we don't have that 10 grand right now or the 20 grand right now for both presses. But absolutely, yeah, the second that we are able to, that is next on the list. Because we get asked that probably more so than anything else. Because I was thinking people were going to come in wanting splatter records because they're really popular. I think we've only had one person ask about splatter records. We've probably had 10 to 15 people ask about 7 inches. So it's absolutely going to come in the future.
Well, 6.
Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll bring more people and ask.
Thank you, man. We got to pay that rent.
Yeah. And also, one more question.
Sure.
Whether it's 12 inches or 7 inches, do you do one-offs or does it have to be in bulk?
Our minimum is 100 records.
100.
And the reason is, that's actually probably the third most question we've gotten, which surprised me. So many people call like, I just want one record.
A lot of dubs.
And I'm like, well, and actually some people had some really good ideas. Like they wanted to do it for like their wedding guests and stuff like that. Or one person that said they had an idea to use it as invitations for an event they were having. I was like, damn, that's a really good idea. But it would cost you the same as making about 100 records as it was to make basically any number below that all the way down to 1. So if somebody wants to pay me $1,000 or so to make one record, I don't know. I struggle with it because it just doesn't make any sense. I'm the type of person, I'll try to convince them to use their money wisely, but I guess if they got it, yeah, exactly. If they got it like that, people, that's what most people are saying. I'm leaning more that way. I'm like, oh shit, I guess, you want to spend $1,000 on one record, sure. But actually, the printers is going to be the hard part to convince them to do it. But they're going to say the same thing. They're going to say, well, we don't care, we'll
Just do it 20 times.
right, exactly, so they'll get one record and 999 album covers or whatever,
I'll pay you by those.
And just one more, sorry.
Yeah.
Any partnership with local record stores from the plant to stores? Or that's up to the artist?
So we don't actually handle any distribution aspects beyond. So if you come to us as your customer and you say, I want you to send it to here, here, and here, absolutely we will. If one of those here's is a record store, absolutely we will send it. Yeah, absolutely. But we're not a distribution center as in the sense of you can come to us like with an outside product, let's say, and say, here, I want you to distribute this, la 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 la. But as our customer, absolutely. Anywhere that you want them to go, we'll send them within reason. Like we're not going to send them to we're not going to send individual records to customers. But absolutely, if you wanted records to be coming here, well, I'd probably just drive them over here, to be honest with you. But yes, we absolutely could. Yeah, and we have worldwide shipping capabilities. So, but shipping is another area that's good about being local. Is you can come in and pick up your own records. You don't have to pay for shipping because records are heavy and it gets expensive.
Let's give it up for Joel. 610 Records Manufacturing. Thank you, Joel. The next person that is our guest tonight is Chris Castle. This attorney and artist advocate behind Sound Exchange deals with royalties due to producers of sound recordings, not songs or publishing, and how they get their cut.
Thank you. So I'm a music lawyer in Austin, Texas. I'm actually from Houston. I grew up here about 2 miles away, and I learned to drive in the Rice University parking lot. So I think that makes me a native Houstonian. We're going to talk a little bit about Sound Exchange, just so I get a sense of who's here. How many artists? Okay. How many producers? Okay. How many labels? Okay. So labels, yeah. So we're all here. We're all here. So how many have never heard of Sound Exchange? Okay, a few. How many are registered with Sound Exchange? Okay. Just trying to get a sense. So I like to deal with Sound Exchange because it's kind of an overlooked income stream. We have a artist nonprofit called the Artist Rights Institute that I started with David Lowery from Cracker. And one of the things we do is artist financial education. So in terms of educating, Sound Exchange is sometimes a good place to start because a lot of people don't really understand what it is. Like that. Yeah.
Skitty.
Check, check.
There we go.
Sibilance. Okay. So if you have, when you have a sound recording, right, you actually have 2 copyrights. You have the song and the sound recording copyright. Separate copyrights owned by different people, maybe in different countries, right? Sound Exchange deals with the performance right for the sound recording in what are called non-interactive transmissions. So what that would be webcasting, like a Pandora for at least some parts of the Pandora service, Sirius XM, some of those music channels that are, if you still have cable, they're down in the really high numbers, on your menu, and a few other things. But the bulk of it is what you might call internet radio, which would include simulcast of broadcast radio, and the serious money is pretty serious money. So, in order to get the Sound Exchange money, though, you have to actually be registered. That doesn't mean they're not collecting money for you. They just don't know who you are if you're not registered, and they don't know which recordings belong to you. So in order to do that, you have to actually sign up at soundexchange.com. If you've got a handout, there's a QR code on the handout that helps you with registrations. And in order to register, you're going to need to have, a bank account, basically, to send the money to. You're going to have all the sound recordings that you're a featured artist on, for example, or that you own as a label, or that if you're the artist and the sound recording owner, then you register both, and you get to collect both shares. If you're a producer, it's a little bit different for producers because there's no statute. This is all these royalties and rights are in the Copyright Act. So there's no producer right in the Copyright Act, except in one kind of unusual situation, which we don't have to go into now because I can geek out on that for a long time. But the way that producers get paid directly from Sound Exchange is they get a letter of direction. So if you've got a producer deal with an artist, you'll probably, in the back of that, you'll probably have a letter of direction that allows you to get paid directly by the artist's record company. Well, this is just another version of that, but it's a specific one for Sound Exchange, and they have those available on their website. And so what you do when you're a producer is you have to come up with a share of the revenue. And that's usually the same share of the revenue that you would get on, let's say, a film and television license. So in other words, if your royalty as a producer, just to keep it simple, is 3% of what you'd call royalty-based price sales, like anything in this store, for example, and the artist royalty is 12%, then you as a producer essentially get 25% of the artist's revenue on those records. Well, if you've got a statutory royalty or you've got a license fee, that is not a royalty-based price sale, so you can't use that 3% royalty the same way, and you would just revert to the 25%. So basically, if you've got that 25% deal on your non-royalty-bearing sales or non-royalty-based price sales, then that would just be your share of the Sound Exchange money. So that's kind of a long-winded way of explaining it, but that's what you do. And that's what most people do. So that's going to vary, that's going to fluctuate based on what the artist royalty is and what your producer royalty is. So that's really the long and the short of it. I mean, there's some pretty good information on that handout. And Gracie and I have talked about maybe getting a Sound Exchange rep to come out here, right? And help people walk through the registration process, which is a little bit of an ordeal, but you get it done and then you get your money. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, my website is christiancastle.com. There's a web form there if you want to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions offline. Okay, all right.
Thank you so much, Chris. So like he mentioned, there's a handout at the front desk where you checked in. There might be some on the chairs, so. I believe Chris is going to stick around, so he's also available. Next, I want to talk about what happened in 2022. In 2022, an ordinance was passed unanimously by council members to establish the Houston Music Advisory Board. And in short order, 12 board members voted Jason Woods, AKA Flash Gordon Parks, as the inaugural chairman. So I want to invite Jason Woods up to chat about some of the work we started.
Thank you. First of all, I'm so excited to be here at Cactus. It's one of my favorite record stores. Anybody's first time here, I encourage you to come in, and even if you don't buy records, just fellowship. It's been great, you know, being a part of this board. A lot of amazing people in the music community, stakeholders in the music community, and it's been really energizing to sort of brainstorm and come up with ways that we can tighten up our community. Do you want me to talk about all of the stuff we've done since 22, or?
Yeah, but first let's at least list out
Who's on the board?
Yeah.
So we got Vice President Mark Austin, who's not here. We have Secretary Tracy Desjardins, Treasurer Drea Thornton, who's here. Erica DeLeon, who's here, AKA Baby Girl. Anna Garza, and of course the one and only G Dash. We got Jason Kane, Juggy Keitel from White Oak, and Lupe Olivares, who's here in the front. Mike Frost, is Mike here? Okay. Mike, and happy birthday to Marissa Sands. I could do that. Yes. You could have been anywhere in the city, but you're here with us. We appreciate it. So do you want me to talk about things we've done since 22? 23 especially, okay. We've been busy, y'all. I see some familiar faces in the room, people who have come to the listening sessions, people that have showed up to the events. We've had numerous different panels. We've tried to touch a lot of different areas in the community that are near and dear to all of us. It's easy to grab the low-hanging fruit and do the things that are just a layup, pop music and things that everybody kind of gravitates towards. But I like the fact that our board is diverse in terms of our music taste and the type of people that are representative of the city. So just off top, we took cues from the community, things that were important to them, and at the time we were looking at preservation. Houston has had a reputation for, tearing things down very quickly, a lot of things of historic value. It's like if you know, you know. If you were there, then you remember those histories, but there's a huge, upcoming community, people that don't know these stories, or a lot of the stories are just stories, but some of us in this room have actually lived through it. And, so that first wave, we tried to focus on a lot of the preservation. So we had a panel discussion with myself. Is Alex LaRota still in here? Did he leave? Alex LaRota and Roger Wood, and we talked about how important venues, spaces like the El Dorado Ballroom, which they just renovated, and it's a brand new space, and that building is almost 100 years old, and it's still in 3rd Ward, and it's a very nice space to visit. If you haven't been, I encourage everybody to check out. So we did a panel about preservation in terms of landmarks and why those things are important. Through that, and I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but we talked about, like I learned in 2nd Ward, the Morales Radio Hall in 2nd Ward, which was the first Hispanic-speaking radio station in the city. Didn't know that history, but the fact that we were able to bring that history to the forefront and talk to people from that community, and at the same time, we were trying to build a relationship between mentors and proteges, like create that environment, which, I think as musicians and label heads and so forth, you understand the importance of the next generation carrying that torch and why it's important to have that connection with the youth. So we've been fortunate to reach out to certain elders in the community that can kind of share those histories, along with young people who can learn and pass those things down. So learning about the Morales Music Hall, and at the same time, what was the third one on? Oh, Match. Right, which focused on Sugar Hill Recording Studios, which is the longest running recording studio since the early 40s that has never closed as a recording studio, the longest running in the country. So, you know, Houston has this rich music history, and it's like deep in terms of how far back it goes. In 22, we celebrated 100 years of recorded music history here in the city. So think about that. We have 100 years of music that was recorded. So people like Joel and what they're doing to push in the future where we can have more recorded histories, because take it from me, a avid record collector, I learned, bless you, I learned so much about different things through those records. You know, the liner notes, those are a great timestamp of what was going on. And so to have this opportunity to continue that legacy is amazing to me. So not just only with preservation, and I mean, we've had an opportunity to host the Texas Music Conference.
It was the 5th annual Texas Sounds and Cities. It's a music conference that brings in music delegates from across the state. So last year, we hosted over 100 delegates that came in. And one of the things that we were really excited about doing is when the guests arrived, we took them on a Houston music history tour. And that is an idea that actually came from our first listening session. And so we took them on an hour-long tour before we went to St. Arnold's for a big welcome reception. But I'm happy to also share that this year's music conference is in Lubbock, and they're picking up that music history tour, and they're doing one in Lubbock for this conference. Yeah.
So what's cool about that is here we are again, Houston being innovators, and you know, people biting and taking our stuff, which they do, and that's cool. But I wanted to point out what was amazing about that tour. Like, we did a small tour, and it was just a drop in the bucket of the history. We weren't even able to like go to the screw shop or go to all of these other historic landmarks around the city. We kept it really tight just in the downtown area and, near 3rd, 4th, and 5th Ward. So it's just amazing the amount of stuff that can be shared. And I encourage everybody to think about your own neighborhoods and think about the places that are valuable, that you may not even see the full value now, but think about what it's gonna be 20, 30 years. Coming into this year, we were able to do a lot of great programming. One was the sound diplomacy. We had a guest speaker come in and just kind of talk to us about, looking at our city and like pulling out all of the raw potential here, like figuring out how we can make this cohesive, thinking about things that we can do that aren't necessarily, the norm. Let's think out the box, because Houston is an out the box sort of city. We don't operate like most other major cities, right? We're doing things that are really organic, but then they become these phenomena worldwide. So how can we take those kind of concepts and harness it in a way that benefits our community? Like, those are the type of things that we are actively, pushing our board to come up with, and also turning it back to you guys, the community, and helping us and how we can steer this and help city government help us all to get on point and to do the things that we all would like to see happen in our city. After that, we did a program with SoundSync, which was amazing. I learned so much on licensing, licensing your music in so many different areas that you might not have even thought of as musicians, as people who are making music out here. There's so many ways that your music can be heard, not just the traditional ways or, my song playing on the radio era. You know what I mean? We got to think other ways that we can get our music out there. And television and film is one of those spaces that you might see your music being able to be utilized. So, what was the third one? We had a...
So the third one was we partnered with Houston Arts Alliance.
Right. Houston Arts Alliance, every time we have an event, we try to encourage all of the musicians to apply for these grants. Think of yourself, a lot of times people don't think of themselves as artists in that capacity, but as musicians, you are artists. You are entitled to some of this money. And to be able to partner with the Houston Arts Alliance is great because it just lets people know about these resources that are untapped. And we definitely want to see you guys tap into these resources and make incredible music that we can all brag on and feel confident when we go to other cities and let them know we from Houston, right? Yeah. All right. Anything else? Did I cover it all? Okay. Thank you guys for coming out on a Tuesday. Really appreciate it.
Let's give it up for Jason Woods, the Houston Music Advisory Board Chairman. How does that sound? I want to also give a couple of shout outs. Donnie Houston over here to my right. Yes, definitely. Definitely a notable, figure here in not just in Houston, but is also pushing the envelope forward in terms of Houston music history, documenting. And I bring him up because he moderated our first year's panels. And, his audience, young, old, all of us, just really happy to connect with him and continue working. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. And lift up that bag. You already went shopping, didn't you? Look at you. And then also want to give another shout out to Natalie Fan in the back. She was from SoundSync Music. She was also our workshop, instructor, and was really proud of that session. That was the first time we brought local filmmakers and music makers together at the Deluxe Theater. And as we're thinking about more music making for films, for streaming, I guess, more on that later, right? Okay, and then turning things back to this year, just to kind of round things out, some milestones we hit, also included events and festivals this year. The rodeo is back to its pre-pandemic brilliance, making a whopping $326 million in total economic impact for the city of Houston. I don't know how we did it for a couple of years without the rodeo, but they're back. Another festival to note is the Chicano Festival. Is one of the city's longest running festivals at Miller Outdoor Theater. This year's 45th event featured a 3-day lineup that included Little Joe y La Familia. So you guys know who he is, legend here in Texas. Of course, St. Arnold's 30th anniversary was pretty cool. It was an entire local lineup, really great. Devin the Dude, amazing. And then, of course, East End Street Festival. It's an ongoing festival every year. Houston-based River Revival. Loud Fest. Noche Tejana. You know, quick story here. Jennifer was at our first listening session, and since then she's been inspired and wrangled in, you know, her family members and everyone else to kind of rally behind her, and now Noche Tejana is on gaining its legs, right? Yeah, and then a couple other, well, and one more other festival, Solar Flare, which is something I hadn't heard of, but yeah. And some notable artists. It's not hard to mention local artists like Beyonce and Khruangbin, whose work has made an impact beyond our city limits. But who else from Houston made an impact this year, you think? Just think. Mafia, okay. Yeah, Solange. Yeah, so think on that for a moment, and y'all let me know. And then in terms of arts, music and arts education, the mariachi education and performances saw growth, expansion, and visibility in our city. The University of Houston added their Mariachi Pumas, Houston Texans Mariachi, Houston Mariachi Festival gained some traction, and then mariachi was also added to Tomball ISD, Humble ISD, Fort Bend, and Spring ISD, to name a few. And more districts, schools are wanting to add throughout the greater Houston area these types of programs. Conjunto Tejano Norteño Group was also established at Sam Houston High School, and other schools are looking to do the same. So those are just some highlights from this year. Wish I had more, but I'm here also to hear what you guys have to say. And maybe those are just some thought starters for now. But before we turn it over to our audience, I'm just going to want to lay out a couple of house rules, I guess, for our session with community. Anyone's invited, regardless of musical discipline, music genre, and preference or practice, to share their public comments. Be respectful, listen, and conduct yourself in the best interest of the community. I'm going to call up speakers if you signed up to speak tonight. You have 3 minutes max to address the board. So Joseph, I don't know where Joseph is, if he can help me keep track of time. And then, of course, board members may respond. And then, we'll be open to Q&A after that with the board. So are we good to go? I said, are we good to go? Yes. All right, I'm going to call up Rob Gollet. Are you here? Nope. Remy Cole. Dr. Chris Williams. Come on up. There's a mic here. Well, you said you wanted to speak tonight. Oh, you said yes. Would you like to address the board?
Okay.
Yes.
First off, hello to everybody. I am Dr. Chris Williams. I am the program chair at Houston Community College. We have the only music business audio program department realistically in this area. We are now being, and I'm prefacing this about what I'm about to ask, but we are now about to be accredited, one of 3 universities in the state of Texas in music business and audio and music, next to North Texas. So in addition to that, I'm also an adjunct professor at University of Houston, and we finally brought back the hip hop history and culture class after 8 years. So my question is to the board. HCC has been one of the, it's considered the hidden jewel, right? Considered the hidden jewel. My question is from overall from a city perspective, there's some local needs that needs to transpire. We're trying to figure out how can the city of Houston actually get behind this respected program as a whole. What is it that the city can do to get behind our students? Because I think we have some students here, right? Got some students in the program? Cool. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is really not, we want the city of Houston to be on the forefront of the music business and the audio recording, because everybody that comes to the city, they pluck our talent, they leave, right? So we're just trying to figure out, with you all's help, how can that be done? How can we cultivate this and really get our youth involved into the educational piece of this and to keep pushing them forward?
Mic check. All right, I'm loud. All right. So I'm a festival producer. I do marketing as a profession as well, but also a big music advocate and constantly booking for different experiences. I think there's opportunity. Okay, I'm gonna get really shaky just the first 2 minutes and then it'll go away. But I think there's opportunity with, getting hands-on experience. So festivals, we always need audio support. Productions need audio support, whether they're starting out as PAs or in specific roles. I think there's programming opportunities. Sorry. I think there's programming opportunities. So it kind of tell us what you're looking for. Is it that you want to build awareness for the program and have more students, or is it that you want the city to know that you are out there as a resource? And then we can definitely start from there. Sorry. Great, guys.
Does anyone else want to take a shot at that?
Yeah, I'll take it. Okay, can someone turn this mic down? Oh, okay. So, I echo
He's
everything.
a sound guy, that's why.
Yeah, I echo everything Marisa said. I also do cultural arts festivals. I wear many, many hats. Now, the question was, what can the city do? I don't know what the city can do, but I know what we've been doing. I know what people in the community have been doing for a long time. And echoing what Marisa was saying, back then, you guys are students, right? There was no programs in the school to learn. I'm talking, in my time was more of the early 80s, and all through that time, there was no programs like you have now. There was no YouTube, or any of that. I went into it. There was this goofy little festival at the time called the Houston Festival at the time that went on to become the International Festival. But my friend and I were just goofy as hell, and lied our way into being, gophers. Go for this, go for that, and we just wanted to learn everything about audio or anything that had to do with the music business. So it takes a lot of hats to try to make a living in the music business. I'm a sound engineer. I may get hired to be just a festival director, or I may get hired just to bring in, X amount of gear for whatever. So I learned so many different areas of the business, so that if I don't get employed in this one, maybe I'll get something in this one. And so it's take advantage of all that the programs offer at the schools and whatnot, but also get out into the trenches, get out into what I call the boots on the ground, sadly, in Houston, we've lost a lot of original small clubs, so that's a tough one, and it's economics or whatever. But get out into, it has to come from you. I mean, no one else. So you want to learn as much as you can in a short amount of time. If you really love the business, and there's so many different levels, in it, but it does take a little bit of all of them, so that's some advice that I could give in my 40 years of doing this.
I just want to say real quick, we have one of my interns here, myself and Tracy, who's also on the board. She was, we had CR part of our team. We book shows and buy talent, and she was very helpful with us. And we had another student from your program as well. But maybe there's something we can do as a board. Like, this is an event for discussion. Maybe there's an event for connecting local, businesses like, we all are a part of with your students. You guys have job fairs already, but maybe it's something that we can present to the community. It's
not focused on them.
Oh, what do you?
Yeah, those job fairs are not focused.
Oh, okay.
They're just realistically more the academia side of things, engineering and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But when it comes to the fine arts and dealing with these students specifically, it's nowhere to be found.
Okay.
We have to leave and go to Austin or go to Nashville or go to Atlanta, go to LA to get them exposed.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're starting here, right?
Yeah.
We're starting here, and I would say 3-4 years ago, this didn't even exist. And I can promise that, having done, this is our 4th one annually, that if this continues, this is something that your students, other community members, music business owners, other artists can continue to look forward to connecting and having this discussion. And really happy to hear that, higher education institutions like yourself are starting to connect. Because you're right, we do need to set up that pipeline for students in music business so that they can excel and return and give back, right? Any other thoughts?
I just want to say something to the students in the room. Houston has many acronyms, right? Or, aliases, and one of them is Hustle Town, right? So you got to hustle. You got to speak up for yourself, young people. In terms of if you want it, there's people in this room that could change your life. It's just having a conversation, You are already entrenched in a community that people are doing things. One of the misconceptions of Houston is, there's nothing happening because Houston isn't flashy like that. But there's tons of people you see every day who are making moves and plugged into a bigger industry that you just, overlook because they don't look like they're doing it. But I just want to encourage you guys, if you really got, tenacity to make it happen, you got to speak up. You got to want it, basically. So.
Hey. Yeah.
I want to just add on to that. It's really about networking. Like you say, it's about hustling, getting out there and making it happen. Like, don't be afraid to leave your city also, but come back to the city and give back once you do leave. Yeah. And don't forget about the Loud Music Fest that's going down every year.
Did you want to say something?
I just want to piggyback off what Dr. Wiggins said. Come on, bro. I think it's. I apologize. So I 1,000,000% agree with him. But I think one of the things is that we don't see or get to hear, at least from my perspective, it's never about new rap. And understanding that hip hop, the music we was listening to before this event started, was all rap. When you go to any sporting event, it's all rap. When it's a political campaign and needs somebody to get the word out, it's all rap. When it's time for fundraisers and programs and initiatives, we don't get any of it. So when there's a lot of students that are engineers, doing whatever they're doing in the music business program there, and we can come and have all the discussions in the world and build this phenomenal platform that goes to guitarists, the flutists, the graffiti artists, and none of those people are ever called upon to raise the funds that are dispersed. So, and speaking for myself personally, I do an indie festival. We average 3,000 to 4,000 people. I do a radio and press event, 80 media outlets, Pandora, SiriusXM, BET, Black Enterprise, Source, all decision makers are in the room. And zero support. And there's 700, 800 indie artists, and 60% of the attendees come from outside of Texas. So I think one of the things that I know that I'm looking for, and maybe Dr. Williams is looking for, a direct connection of support to say, hey, help us enhance what we're doing. But let's be very specific and targeted. Let's target hip hop. Let's target rap and new. The preservation of Houston culture is phenomenal. We will always be Houston, Hustletown, the Screwed Up Clique. We love it. But there's another Chris Brown here. There's another Beyonce here. There's another Travis Scott here. There's any of these mainstream artists, but there's never any programs or services or outlets or opportunities or festivals that cater to it. So those young, impressionable minds that are at ACC, I have interns from TSU. I managed Flip. They had never heard of Lil Flip until they came to me. So they may not be, it's great that they're learning the history of what we're doing, but what is for 2025? What is in place to discover the next? How many rappers can we have at 50 years old shooting free throws at Rockets games? Who's the next one? And I think that's where, as a music community, that's what I would love to see. How do we embrace the next? When do we start putting the next ones? Marissa had one of my artists on a festival this summer at Middle Outdoor Theater, Skyra. Drea and her husband both work with Skyra. So there are people that are connecting those dots for the next, but we have to, at some point in Houston, we gotta stop living in the past. We can embrace it, we can love it, but we haven't evolved as a music city yet. We haven't evolved to know that there are more sounds, there are more artists. If you search Instagram for your Grammy consideration, there's so many Houston artists up for Grammy consideration that nobody knows and nobody caters to. But if we, as a community, supported those artists, we could have multiple Grammy Award-winning artists every single year. Susan Carroll is from here. She won a Grammy last year. Toby's been nominated. There's so many dope artists here, but she had to move to LA. You know what I'm saying? So like, how do we stop that to embrace the new, to where they don't feel like they have to leave to get recognition as other cities embrace the new? We just stay stuck.
Okay, I'm better now. I'm better. It's gone away. Number one, it is about your vote and the decision makers. It's a reflection of our community. And I think that just looking at our board, one, I was worried I was underdressed. I love y'all all. Because it is a reflection of our community, right? And we need the leaders that are diverse enough, not just diverse in ethnicity, but diverse in genre, diverse in representation. But there are some factual things. When it comes to rap and booking rap, we have to make sure that it's family friendly at these city levels. We have to make sure that you have a radio edit. If you're doing a track set, we need to make sure that it doesn't have the lyrics, and there's really no way around that. So I think it's a mutual understanding and education in the community. But number one, vote the people that truly represent you. Okay.
Chris, do you want to step up to the mic so we can hear you?
Yeah, one thing that me and Dre have been working on since we've been here is an incubator. That's what we're missing. Austin, there's an incubator. There's a center for creatives. LA, San Francisco, right? Chicago. There's no way Houston should not have an incubator, a place where you can go get information, you can throw events, a city center where we can come together and share information and share business information. And, that's what we've been working on for a while. So, what do we have to do to get the city's assistance or even the advisory board's assistance to start to think about those things? How do we find the epicenter for us to have a grassroots build out? That's my question.
Yeah, that's definitely needed. And a lot of folks are also asking for practice space. You can rent out, areas or spaces just to practice. I know Toby rents out the Bayou Center to just build out his stage before he goes out on tour. But yeah, we mentioned it briefly earlier. A lot of the I'm sure you guys may or may not have heard, hot dollars, the hotel occupancy tax dollars that come to, the city, our office, and that gets sent over to the Houston Arts Alliance. And like Flash mentioned earlier, that's why we keep encouraging, you guys in the room to apply, because you're entitled to apply for those types of grants, and it shouldn't stop there. There's many other ways that we can look at funding, but that's just one option.
Just a look right now on the website for they have actually grants. Hi, y'all. I was louder off the mic. Just even right now alone, they just dropped. I need to sign up for Houston Art Alliance if you're not already. They give you an informational sheet that sends to your email every single week, 2 or 3 that go by. And in there, it also has some grants right now. They're actually servicing for space for up to 6 months. If you get the grant, you get that space. They also give you a stipend for $3,500 to use the space what you would like to. So it's there. It's obviously, and the other thing, obviously, we've been getting people to register on the music advisory board. So we do have somewhat of something that we have. I keep it in my link tree for every musician that I ever come across, because at the Hip Hop Vintage Flea Market, we also, for years, what I'm just doing is giving a young next generation a chance, whether they're rappers or, they come in the MCs or DJs, and, we've been doing that for 7 years, and having a platform for them to do what they do best, and I don't really give limitations until I, obviously, just like Marissa mentioned about family friendly and whatnot when we were in different spaces, but now we're at a brewery where there's more kids versus when we were at Graffiti Park. But we have that platform, and I would love to get back to creating that platform again, but it also takes a team to make sure that is something that we can do. So, y'all can't do things like that by ourselves because that's so difficult, but at the same time, there are some things out there, a lot of things actually, but we just got to keep getting the information out there and sharing it with one another. So look at those grants for the Houston Art Alliance. Everyone sign up if you haven't signed up. Sign up for the Music Advisory Board as well. Register yourself on there no matter what type of musician you are. If FIFA, when it comes next year, if they're looking for somebody that plays the violin but plays hip hop off the violin, they're looking through that registry for that person. They're looking for a rapper. They're looking for whoever that they're looking for these big festivals and things that are going to come, here, because I know we're going to get there. Obviously, this is all the framework. Framework is so vital, so important to everything that you do and how you start. Write your ideas down, put it on paper, and keep manifesting it, keep working towards it, and just like everyone else said, just keep hustling. You'll get it. You will get it. You're here for a reason, and you're aligned in this for a reason. So, yeah.
Thank you, baby girl. And what she was talking about is the music directory. So if you haven't already registered yourself as a musician or a music business owner, That directory is a great way not only to find one another, but also to market a great talent here in the city. If you haven't already done so, there's a QR code on your way out. You can scan it and register on your own time. It's free. It just takes a few minutes, but it's a great way for us to, I get asked this all the time. Hey, can you find some mariachis? Or hey, can you find a jazz trio? Look in the directory, you know? And as we're thinking about sporting events coming to Houston, as we're thinking about other major events, would rather that those activations book and buy talent here in Houston rather than bring them in from somewhere else. And one last thing I want to add to Baby Girl's comments is you can also look beyond the city of Houston for grants. Think state level, think regional, think national. So there's just many different grants out there. So that, like I said, that's just one option. Any other comments? Come up to the mic, please.
My name is Sierra. I am the president of MISA, the Music Entertainment Student Association here at HCC. Y'all give me some noise back there, my man. So yeah, we're here. But I think what to really go off of what Dr. Williams was asking was, what could y'all bring to like the forefront of like government official wise to help out with college level music or like entertainment industry level type things to help us out? Like, yeah, we definitely put in the work. Like, we hustle, we talk, we do our thing. We encourage that within our organization as well. But it's like, that's what he's like really asking. Like, we're just getting accreditation. Like, that's pretty cool. But it's like, what can y'all bring to them on the government level to see what we can do to get help with in our schools? Because they're talking to us, telling us like, man, y'all rates ain't looking that good. We might have to like do something else with the program or something like that. So I think that's really where Dr. Williams was coming from with that. I don't know if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, that's why I feel like I would kind of get that question, the answer to that though.
Yeah. You want to say something? No, I think it's a community thing first. Honestly, I think that, the community is here tonight so that we can have this dialogue. As stakeholders in the music community and also the conduit as a music board to the city officials here, we're here to figure out what that would look like.
That's what I wanted to figure it out, because I'm catching pieces, but I didn't feel like I got the actual question to that, what you were asking. No, that clarified for me 100%, so thank you for that. And big ups to you and big ups to the organization doing what y'all do. Keep doing it no matter what happens. But regardless of that, I think that is something that what we do with this with this board is that we go back and we make sure that we prioritize what is being said here today, and we put it all down on paper and we go from there. So even with that being said, something bringing to light of some sort of a letter, pertaining to that, where can that go from here? You know what I mean? So we are going to take that back and strive with it and make sure we can kind of figure out what that would look like, and go through the channels to making sure that happens.
Yeah, because that's just my question, because personally, like after I graduate HCC, I have to go all the way to Dallas to do the next thing that I want to do, because they don't have our school or like other schools don't have the program that I need to widen my expertise or put some more things under my belt to get myself to the next level. So that's the only reason why I was asking. It's a event and experience management. They don't offer anything else but hospitality here. Like, that's what its main focus is in Houston that I'm seeing at all of the universities, or even at the community college. It's more of hospitality, or like in the food and beverage, or the things of like hotel wise. I don't really see anything.
And that's good to know. I didn't know that. School us, school me. You know what I mean?
So to piggyback, sorry, Sierra, the next phase for the students, to even remotely get what we offer to transition them, they have to go to Loyola in New Orleans. That is the next, closest degree plan that matches what we offer to catapult them to the next level, is to go to Loyola in New Orleans.
So yes, we're learning a lot of, getting educated on a lot of things. But I do want to say that we're like you guys. We don't work for the city. You know, we're listening, and we put it to those officials, and hopefully they'll listen or whatever. But we're at a stage where we're building things here now, and so that people won't have to go to another city and get that, whatever it is. But it's very complicated. It really is.
Well, I mean, for starters, if most of you guys RSVP'd for tonight, you'll notice that there was a couple of questions that asked about what were the topics of concern. That's all information that I ingest. And I can tell you, based on the 80-some respondents for tonight, do you know what the biggest topic of concern is for all you folks in the room? Music business development, right? The second topic is healthcare and wellness. Who would have thought? Right. And so that's what's on the top of y'all's mind. So I hear you loud and clear, and we're gonna get together soon after this and have a conversation about why folks are concerned about those topics. And then just to round it out, funding and grants was a third topic of concern. And as Baby Girl just stated, there's plenty of resources, and we can continue to share more, because that's going to be an ongoing thing, and people want to not just survive but thrive here in the city. And then the fourth and fifth topic of concern is audience development. I know that probably sounds off topic, but if you develop your audience to appreciate original live music and not cover music, for example, I'm not just picking on cover artists, but if we need to develop our audience, right? And then, of course, collaboration. I've heard it many, many times tonight, collaboration. So I'm getting this information. We're getting this information. And so that's why it's important for us to continue to have this kind of listening session every year, so that we're responsive to the community. Because again, at the top of the session today, I just explained I'm part of the community still as a musician. So, sorry, was there anything else that, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Lux. So I know all of us work in the industry, and the music for the city is new, or like the board, right? Have we, collectively, I think between a lot of the people in the room, we could probably think about throwing a fundraising festival that allows students to get the work experience, other artists to get exposure, and then we're fundraising for the board, so that board can help develop more resources to give back to the community. It's just an idea. I got into the music scene or whatever doing The Rush at the Foundation Room, and it was improv, and now there's a lot of gigging musicians in town, and I'm pretty sure everyone in here probably knows one person off by one person. And so it's really provided an opportunity to play with a bunch of different people, and everyone's welcome to come and play at these jam sessions. But maybe adding that to as an opportunity also, maybe hey, once every 2 months or something, this is an opportunity at a park, or we're at a venue or whatever, that we could all just, you could sign up and do the thing.
What was your name again?
Lux.
Lux. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, and that was a great example. Yes, please give her a hand. That was a great example of, yes, we have questions, but we also want to point out missed opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's just a jam session. It used to be called The Rush in the Foundation Room. Yeah, a great time. Music never stops. It's a good time.
Love your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Howdy y'all. Hey, everybody too. Yeah, my name's Lamia. How y'all doing? Oh Lord. Okay, great. So everything that you guys are, hey, Lucy, how's it going? Everything that y'all are asking about, I feel like this is super loud for me, so I'm gonna try to. All right. So everything that you guys are asking about, these are things that I've like literally thought about for like the past 10 years. I'm a sociologist by trade and also a griot. So I developed these programs specifically for artists. I just talked to Dr. Williams, is that right, about this? And it's a 5-core model specifically to support artists through mental wellness, spiritual wellness, artist development, connect, with these groups as well, and mental physical wellness, and also through the language arts development of business development, right? So this kicks off actually on Indigenous Peoples Day on Monday. Hey, happy early birthday. Awesome. So I would love you guys to like check it out more. It's inspirelovedreameducation.com. I would love for you guys, to check it out more and talk to you guys more about it. I closed registration yesterday, but because you guys like literally brought it up, it made my heart so happy. So I gave the information to your professor. All right, inspirelovedreameducation.com. I would love to share that with you guys. Thank you.
Go ahead. Please step up to the mic. Tell us your name and what you do.
Hey, check. My name is AJ Santana. I have been playing in Houston for the last 10 years. I do 250 shows a year, minimum. For the last 10 years, I have done stuff for the city of Houston, the city of Sugar Land, the Texans, the Dynamo, KPFT, like the list goes on and on and on and on. I am a cover guy. I am a singer-songwriter. I got 23 songs that are out and streaming and stuff. I have been hustling nonstop. I've done the door-to-door stuff. I've gone to venues and done the door-to-door, sent emails, sent demos, sent merch, done all this stuff, and okay, so I understand people got a lot of mixed feelings about covers and what they give and take from the community, but I'm telling you, I have done so many shows, man, as a cover artist, and there's no denying that that stuff holds value, but it's also missing so many key components to make it, fair for the musicians, fair for the venue. I host a festival called Murder of Crows. I've done 8 of them, and each lineup has 40 artists contributing multimedia art, doing it live. I try and give back as much as the community gives to me. But as a local singer-songwriter that's been in the game, for so long and hustling and trying to get it done, man, I've gone through the IBMs, I'm trying to check all of my boxes, to try and be somebody in Houston, and I'm telling you, man, it's real hard to get up into a place where anybody knows who you are. Most people know me for my cover career, and that's great. I love it. It's fantastic, but I do pop and rock and rap and hip hop and and I got all these tracks out and streaming and stuff. And the only thing that I can do lately to get my stuff into people's ears is pay for some playlister to listen to my music, and when he takes $2 or $3 and listens to my song, kicks me some feedback, does or does not add it to a playlist, But I feel like I don't know where he went. There he is. I'm on his level, man. I want to know how do, as a local Houston artist, I got potential, fam. How do I become the next one? You know what I'm saying? I brought my toolbox. I got all my stuff, man. Let's go. If you have anything to say for somebody like me, who's that's all. Yeah.
No, thank you for that. I'd really love, yes, thank you. I said thank you for that. I'd really love to hear from Cam Franklin. Your thoughts on that? I mean, if I can get this mic over. It sounds like you need a little inspiration to keep going, right?
Some tips, tricks of the trade.
Are you familiar with CAM? Yes.
First of all, thank y'all for putting this on. I know it's a lot in a city where you're not supported the way that you should be. Everybody's right. First of all, I'd like to start with you. None of us get to do what we do at all unless the cover artists are doing what they do. Monday through Thursday, that's who is filling the clubs. That's who's getting the bars paid, that's who's filling the tabs, but also that's who is training the next generation of musicians. That's what I found. Half of my touring players at dueling piano bars, at just open mics, whatever, because I wasn't looking for somebody looking for the high-paying gig. I don't have that kind of overhead. I was looking for somebody that could show up sober, be kind to me and respectful to my bandmates, and learn and play the music. I do believe that our city is a big victim of both underfunding and a lack of education. I recommend the same book about 5,000 times a week. It's called How to Build a Sustainable Music Career and Collect All Revenue Streams by Emily White. I'll say it again. How to Build a Sustainable Music Career and Collect All Revenue Streams. That's just one book. She has a podcast as well that's free. The Music Industry Bible by Donald Passman. It's long as fuck, but you need to understand what it is you're asking for, because you won't know if you're being underpaid. You need to understand what it is you're asking for, because you won't know why your proposal for your grant got denied if you're not filling every single part out. Yeah, there's funding here, but who is actually being like, hey, let me help your hip hop event double check that your budget is right, because if it looks sketchy, it's not getting approved. Hey, let me make sure that everything you're applying for is achievable as your homie in this industry, because if it's not correct, it's not getting approved. Also, there's a lot of people here that know how to read, but in terms of how to apply for grants, they don't know that that's something they qualify for. Also, the grant system within the city of Houston, even though I've applied and received them, is extremely limiting if you live outside of a certain radius, even if your address still says Houston, Texas. That's a whole other issue. In terms of what they're saying, if you voted for Mayor Whitmire, I'll say it, we might not see the same arts funding that we're seeing this year by the end of that man's term. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but be real and pay attention. And don't start bitching when you vote for somebody that doesn't give a fuck about you. Additionally, yes, we do need an incubator. We deserve an incubator. But incubators are created by ideas. The idea that Lux had, I believe, in terms of finding y'all some funding and the fundraiser, that's step one. When you look at what Austin has, when you look at what New York and Chicago and LA, they have a community that got tired of being lied to. All of us, Houston has a, who's doing better than me? Oh, why are they getting this time rather than great fucking job, which should be your answer every time somebody gets something you wanted or you think was your. This will be the end of my speech, because I know there's more people, but I say all of that to say that it's like this when it comes to this industry. One day you're up here, the next day people are like, oh, are you still doing music? Yeah, bitch, I'm still doing music. But here's the thing, that book that I recommended to you, that's the reason you probably won't ever see another Rihanna album, not anytime soon, because being a sustainable musician is about being a sustainable business person. And if people are taking advantage of you, it's your fault at a certain point. At a certain point, I'm not saying the first time or the second time, because I call Houston the city a scam. If you make it out of here, you can make it anywhere. Because most of these major cities have protections. Our city doesn't have zoning. It has no type of protections. We are begging for tax incentives right now. Did y'all know that as musicians? I heard the Recording Academy talked about 4 days ago was Music Advocacy Day. We don't get the tax incentives that we deserve, even though if you're an actor, if you make films, if you do other things here, you get all of that.
I'm saying what we're trying to have passed right now is if you want to make an album, a cover album, an original music album in Houston, Texas, you should be eligible to make up to $150,000, you should be eligible to write off up to $150,000 of your taxes, just like any other creative industry is allowed to do. You can't ask for shit when you aren't demanding it. When we're at the bottom, we've been at the bottom, but we output the most. We're at the bottom, yeah, we got all these people that are releasing these damn near struggle albums, because that's what it feels like to release a record here right now. It's, I barely made it. I'm so glad to see, the recording press plant coming here. I hope you're getting the incentivizations that you should be getting, but I'm sure you're not getting them. Yeah. Meanwhile, some of you don't even realize that if you want to make real money, you need to know this man's business. It's not streaming. To sell a record right now, to sell a physical copy, just look around this room, the vinyl and how much they cost. It's about $40, $35 usually a pop, right? Minimum orders most of the time is about $1,000 for vinyl. Right now, I'm taking quotes right now, and it's looking like about, $6,000 to $7,000 for that order, which sounds like a lot, but you flip that. What is $40 times 1,000? That's the education we're not receiving here. And when it comes to sustainability, who gives a fuck who you are if you get to go and pay your bills? Who cares who you are if you get to play music every day, if that's what you really want to do? If you're concerned about being famous, that's a different meeting. But if you want to be a sustainable artist, this is gonna have to keep happening. And you're gonna have to work with people that you don't know sometimes, or that may not look like you, or may have, had a run, and maybe they're not popular right now, but maybe they can advise you. Maybe they can give you some advice. Stop acting like you know everything. Ask for help. Talk to people that have been there. I'm not the most accessible, but I usually respond eventually. But there are so many people in this room right now that are knowledgeable, that can give you advice, that will play your records, that can recommend people to you to help you out. And funding's just one part of it. The real thing at the end of the day as an artist is to remember that you can do all of this without funding. If you got a phone, you got access to the library, that's really all you need. Building an audience, cool, play a show with somebody you don't know, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. If you're only playing one show a year and wondering why the world doesn't know you, because you don't go outside. I'm just being real. I'm just being real, really, really real. And full disclosure, that book that I plugged twice, I wrote the foreword on the second edition coming out. This is not a game to me. This is a real thing. And if you're not taking the time to educate yourself, expect to always be making what you're making right now. Expect to always be receiving what you're receiving right now, and to just keep doing this in a loop. That's it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Cam. I didn't know I needed that. That's Cam Franklin from the Suffers, y'all. And yeah, amazing.
Thank you for that. That was, you could have kept going. No, but I did want to speak off of that and piggyback off of that. I'm an independent artist, and for me, networking and consistency has been my biggest two things that has helped me achieve my goals. Networking is so big. Like she said, you got to go outside. Well, you're outside, you're meeting people that you've never met before, different areas of music, different genres, different parts of the business, different areas of life. Just there's so much out there in the streets, and you're just getting to know all these people. That's literally what I did. My goal was to get out in the streets and perform at different open mics, perform at different people's shows, throw my own shows when there wasn't an opportunity for me. When there's not opportunity for me, I'm out there making the opportunity. Oh, I can't get on your show? Oh, I'm not able to get in this room? Okay, fine, I'm gonna go get my own room, my own show, and I'm gonna throw it myself. And maybe it costs money, maybe it doesn't cost money. I'm a proponent of not costing money because I don't like to spend a lot of money. I like to make the money, right? But networking is everything. You know, we always talk about it. The city is definitely separated by genre, separated by neighborhood, separated by race, separated by this, that, whatever. We have to combine it. You have to, as an individual, combine it for yourself. You have to get out in different spaces and meet different people. Just like here, this room is like so full of knowledge and people and different areas of music, different areas of the business, and it's just so fruitful to be here. One of the reasons why I joined the board was because I got tired of saying, I don't have an opportunity. Where's my opportunity? Where can I do this? How can I do that? No, what? Forget it. I'm just gonna go above all that and try to help make the opportunity, not only for myself, but for the community as well. So the things that you feel like you're missing, I feel like sometimes you gotta go open those doors for yourself and everything else will follow. But yeah, I'm feeling so inspired. It was like the church of Cam.
We have a question back there. Yeah. And then you're next. Please state your name and what you do here in the community.
Hey, everybody. My name is Wayne Ashley, and I'm a Cam Franklin stan, first of all. And I also just want to share, really great to be here with everybody tonight, and I'm so thankful for all of the incredible work that the Houston Music Advisory Board is doing. It's funny because I came to, it was a couple years ago, it might have been the first session where one of the really big concerns was housing. I remember that specifically, and I'm really so thankful to see that like we're actually starting artist communities now in the city of Houston, which is a huge, huge deal, and I'm glad to see that it's continuing. Thank you so much for that. That is amazing and incredible and something that we have desperately needed and still need because of how unaffordable things have become. So I'm really thankful and proud of that.
Appreciate you.
And I also just want to share, listening to other folks' comments, it's really great to see because we have such an incredible and wonderful, diverse community of musicians. I happen to be, I sing all sorts of different styles, but I'm a singer, and I work in classical music, in jazz music, R&B music. I also happen to be a Grammy Award winner with the Houston Chamber Choir. We won in 2020. And I was very proud to represent the city of Houston on the Grammy Award stage and accept that Grammy Award. So if you have questions about the Recording Academy process and how to get involved in all of that, I'm happy to help. I'm also down to collaborate. Very thankful to do all of that. And that said, listening to a lot of the feedback and things, it's really amazing to see so many different aspects of things that are going on right now. Houston, Texas, if you didn't notice, a Houston Public Media report that just recently came out named us the arts and cultural capital of the state of Texas based on the amount of volume, the volume of work and the jobs that we create as the city of Houston, the amount of money and the jobs that we create, which surpasses all of the other major metro areas. So know that, know the power of this place, know the power of Houston, Texas, and all of the incredible arts that we have. What I was mentioning about the Grammy Award that Houston Chamber Choir won, that was done, it's an amazing event, an amazing feat. Our album that we recorded, Duraflay Complete Choral Works, was recorded at Rice University. It was done by 100% local artists. Every singer on that album, the organist that was on that album, every person, every note of music that was done on that album was all Houston, Texas musicians. So you need to know that because that we are represented in the biggest stages on the world in so many ways. And we all know that, we all see that, but we need to hear it. We need to understand that. So I just want to share that with you and then lastly, in terms of being able to have forums like this and things more frequently, I'm so inspired. I recently went to the Black Market, which is a monthly occurrence of people that are just coming together and, you know, selling their things and having those types of collaborations. So I hope that things like this can happen more frequently and more often. You know, so for example, I'm also a recording artist. I'm happy to stand in, and if you need any background vocals, any kind of things, you know, whatever you need, I got it, you know, from the voice standpoint. So like, we just need to have these spaces and be able to collaborate and be able to see like what we can do as a music community, because it's all here. We don't need to go to other places. The people in Houston are just as good, probably better, than anywhere else.
Thank you, Wayne. You're going to have to drop that link so we can listen to that Grammy Award-winning album. That'd be great. Young lady here. Please let us know your name.
Hi, everyone. I'm y'all's global auntie. I'm Ashley. Hi, Ashley back there. I went to school, A&M Corpus Christi. I am a communications major, music industry minor, so I like to talk. This is like my element right here. Some of the things that I do in the community, like you guys mentioned, you may not look like that type of person, but you probably never know. I was radio for NPR and PBS, so I had that real subtle radio voice. I also worked at House of Rock in Corpus Christi, did some press releases for Chicano Batman, Pinata Protest. If you guys asking Alexandria, they came through too. You would never expect I'm metal rock and all those type of things. So when we're talking about on the global level, I may not look like it, but I've been around. Even with how young I am, guys, do not, I promise you guys, I'm 24. Can you believe 24 years old? I've done that type of stuff. But what I wanted to kind of bring up on kind of a global level that I'm noticing is why I say global auntie, because I work with a lot of musicians coming from super, super different backgrounds. I'm talking about, I've met a Pakistani rapper. We have, of course, South Korea is doing their thing in the music industry. I think we don't talk about that enough. They are taking over, or has taken over. And one of the things that I've noticed in a lot of tours and concerts is we are getting skipped. Like he mentioned over there, we are getting kind of passed by. I'm seeing Austin, Dallas, and I'm like, y'all didn't even give me a chance to look up Houston. We're automatically being skipped over on some of these major tours. And the reason why I brought up K-pop is because one of the biggest bands, like BTS, they never even came here. They went straight to Dallas. We were barely getting some from different, and like you said, we are for the largest city in the United States, and we're really big on culture, but I'm not seeing that kind of represented in the touring industry. I know you worked on festivals. I'm like, is the touring route for Houston a little odd? Are we kind of South Texas, you know, Corpus Christi? You know, a lot of some of the groups are kind of going down there, which is very small, close to the water. You know, if they're finna take off to Mexico, that'll probably be a good destination. But for my question is, since, you know, we are very cultural and global, I'm just not seeing that reflected on a lot of the tours. And so from you guys, as y'all's knowledgeable background, is there maybe a reason why y'all notice in Houston that touring, they come to us, but they may not come back? And I'm like, is it us? Are we rude to them? Is it our vendor, you know, is our areas up to date? You know what I mean? Is it up to date back there? Being a sound guy, you know, you work with different things, you see the background. Is it good enough for equipment? Some places are old, you know. San Antonio has that issue. They just upgraded with the AT&T Center or something. So what do y'all have to say for that? As far as, yeah, advice.
Well, thank you for the question. Too bad Mark's not here. Mark Austin would be the yes. I did hear Mark speak about why Houston is getting passed over, and it just goes down to economics,
Right.
And how spread this city is, and there is a lot of things happening, but. Yeah, it's just geographic, economics. It's just part of what we're trying to create here to get seen, to get noticed, you know, that sort of thing. But yes, you're right, we're getting past
Yeah,
over
and to
here.
add more context to that, there was a lot of medium-sized venues that shuttered during the pandemic. So there's a disparity in sizes of venues. There's small venues, and in some cases, bands may have to do 2 nights to accommodate like a fan base.
Right.
Or they have like the larger Live Nation type venues. So there's really not a lot of, not a lot of in between. So, I mean, in y'all's experience, a mid-size venue would be something like, yeah, Heights Theater, but it's small. Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah, foundation room.
When we were bringing Grammy artists to the international festival, that was a foundation and it was a nonprofit, and that didn't happen overnight. It took 40 years to slowly build to where we were doing 2 weekends and bringing in Grammy winners on those 2 weekends, and we also had 6 other stages that were different genres, and on that level we would hire all local. The only out of town were the Grammy winners that would come, as your headliners, but we had good budgets to do them at the time. Eventually it went out of business, so there again, economics. It's a fine line. I created a music venue in 2006, Mojimio's Music Art Coffee in the East End. I don't know if you know that, but I was forced to sell my baby, 7 years into it, because of the economics. Luckily, someone bought it. They still do music. They still do, poetry. They still do art things. But I was, at that point, from working with on the Grammy-winning level, in production, to that coffee house where we had like the single A's, the double A's, the triple A's of local musicians coming in, just barely getting started. I mean, since I wasn't a bar, I could have high school bands in there. So, it starts somewhere. But yes, we do get looked over, and there's some kind of a perception that Houston is, still back in the. Yes, still back in the Pasadena Gillies era, and all that. And yes, we're trying to change that here. With your help, we can change this. It takes time. Yeah.
Well, I'm hearing what you're saying. By the way, I also played at School of Rock before, so I know the venue really well.
Chica's Rock.
Yeah, and I also, donated some time to Chica's Rock, and those guys out there every summer. Yeah.
And then last thing, can I just say, guys, do not be nervous to talk to each other. I also help a lot of artists speak in front of, you guys are starting to do podcasts online now, so they're filming those things now. Of course, radio, how to professionally talk, what to say, what not to say. Know your audience, because a lot of times, we know cancel culture is a real thing. Please don't get up there and start talking a mess. But that's where people like me come in, and we'll walk you through that, because a lot of people can be very introverted, or they have, a lot of things to say, but it may not be the right time or the right type of media for that. There's certain medias for different things. So if you guys ever need help on that type of element of how do I talk to people? What do I do when I get on stage? A lot of people are just stuck in the middle of the stage, rapping and singing. I'm like, move around, move. I'm looking like a pageant mom, move around, do something. So if y'all need any media training or any help like that, I would love to help. I'm already helping a lot of people. I was a student last year, so I know how it is, college kids. I know how it is. But thank you, guys.
Thank you. So just to close the loop on that question, and I'm not saying that this is the only answer, but the Texas Music Incubator Rebate Program is now open, and that is run by the Texas Music Office, and any qualifying music venues and festival promoters in Texas can apply for this rebate program. It's on sales of beer and wine, and you can apply by the end of November. On the way out, I've included a QR code from the Texas Music Office. If you are a venue owner, music venue owner, or a festival producer, you can scan that and see if you qualify. You're already up, so come on up.
I'll be quick. Hey, I'm Eliza. I'm a songwriter and composer, and I'm also a local jazz musician. I specialize in French jazz. But I'm in the process of like, you know, I just want to say, so corny, but like spiritually and emotionally and just like psychologically, this has been a very helpful and really magical discussion. I feel that everything that's been coming to me over this process of completing some of my original works over the past year has been like this constant pull to Houston and like wanting to dive local, and then, oh, lo and behold, someone's making a local record pressing company. And then my daughter attends HCC, and we keep raving about how incredible the school is. We had no idea. And the president of MOCA is like just up here being incredible. And everything that was prompting everyone to say what they said tonight, including like, I hear where you're coming from. And I'm so glad that you shared that, because there's so much struggle, but there's also so much joy. And I've been nourished so much from the Houston community, and I just really thank y'all so much for this evening and conducting this. I had no idea this sort of thing existed. This is literally like the first, I promised myself this year I would come out for other Houston artists, but I would also come out for myself. So this is my first kind of thing like this. And I'm like, wow, everybody cares as much as, like, I knew it would be there, but it's here. So thank you. Thank you all so much.
Let's be friends, Eliza. I really want to keep this like conversation like going, you know, not just tonight, but, you know, have this more frequently so we can have opportunities to connect. Yes. All right, who's going to get to the mic first?
Hi, everybody. My name is Camilo Molina, so I also known as DJ Dazzle. First of all, I want to say thank you to the board, because when I first moved here as a transplant, this is the first event that I went to, and I was able to meet you, Gracie. I was able to meet Baby Girl, and since then, I felt like I found my tribe. Like I found the people who are like-minded and all that stuff. Now, with that said, I am a full-time DJ. That's my job, and I want to just suggest a solution for everybody who has new music, who wants to do that. I am now in touch with a lot of Houston DJs, including my man A1 over here as well. And, you know, A1 and the people at the Hip Hop Vintage Flea Market, they've done events like the Rock the Needle and stuff like that that have been great for DJs. Now, with that said, we as DJs are tired of playing the same music, right? I mean, Gracie, you know this, and A1, you know this.
I started a label, that's why.
Right, exactly. I encourage everyone and anyone who is here to tap in with any DJs that you guys know. Even this week, I'm playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I would rather play something dope from you guys out there than the Cupid Shuffle for the 100th time. You know what I'm saying? So get in touch with your local DJ, with people like us. There's tons of, you know, DJ events where we as DJs get together and we do, you know, 15-minute sets and stuff like that. I want to play your music doing that. So get in touch with us DJs out here. You know, if you see me around after we finish, come talk to me. I would love to just hear your music. And I'm working with other DJs around the Houston area who are, you know, what I like to call blue collar DJs, who work, you know, basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all over the Houston area in bars and clubs. And I'm working with them and trying to create a record pool for us, in the sense that not just, you know, just the records that you hear out there, but you guys' music, stuff that is local, stuff that is dope. I've worked with people like Blaze Black, who I've met at the Hip Hop Vintage Flea Market. I did a R&B Thursday over in downtown in Jalees, and I would play their music, and people would ask me, who's that? Or they would Shazam it or do that, and I would introduce new music. And as a DJ, that's the best feeling, you know, that I can get. So please tap into your local DJs.
Yes, let's give it up. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Peace, everyone. My name is Drew Edwards Evans, and I go by Risky Serial, too. I want to thank you guys for putting this thing together. And I'm here. Good to see you, man. I'm from All Rural Radio. It's an internet radio station based here out of Houston, Texas. It was started by Zen. Probably a lot of you guys know him. My partner Denise is here. And I want to let you guys, we're a radio station. We're on right now. Download the app, allruleradio.com, iOS, Android. We need music. We have a new show that we're putting together that's dealing with independent music. This is what it's about. We play music. Get us your music. Let's promote each other. Let's market each other. And that's it. Thank you.
Hello. I'm gonna make this quick. My
Just
name
your
is
name,
Pamela Gillis, and I'm known as Southern Flavor. I'm also a DJ. I'm out in the Galveston County area. I just came in from Beaumont, so that's why I'm just now getting here. But once a month or once every 2 months, myself and my collective here, we do a game show, a hip-hop game show. It's called Vinyl 101 Trivia. You can find us on Instagram and on Facebook. Just come out and check it out. We're in the Pasadena area. Just come check it out. We are like-minded. We are music lovers in general. And to piggyback what you said, I don't play the top 40, so I don't get the demand or the create, but online I get it. Like, I had someone from California to let me do a mix on their radio station instead of right here. You know, that's the thing I'm trying to change. And we're all looking at with the same idea because, like I said, I'm in the Galveston County area. It's nothing out there. It's a ghost land. I don't care when anybody say it's, I've been there my whole entire life. I lived here as well, you know, so I just want to express that, yeah, I'm here. You can find me on Instagram. I'm easy to contact, and I get a hold to, you know, all different sorts of music, whether it's jazz, whether it's funk, whether it's folk music. You know, if it's music and it's good and it suits your soul, that's all that matters. So please check us out. We'll actually have an event coming up on the 26th of October. And yeah, just come in, have fun, win some prizes, connect. Let's do it.
I was going to say, do not invite Flash Gordon Parks.
Bring it. Bring it. No.
He will win all the rounds.
Bring it on.
All right, we're going to have time for one more question if you want to come up to the mic. And then after that, Quinn, pole position.
Okay, so mine's not really a question, it's just a shout out. I wasn't here for the whole meeting, so I don't know if y'all already went over how to book shows. Like, if anyone asks, like, I don't know how to book a show. But anyways, there's this meeting at Wonky Power on Mondays. It's called Music Industry Mondays. And it's similar to this. It's like a Q&A format, and Mario does like presentations and goes into like really into detail on how to book your own shows and like what you need and like, you know, stage manager and lighting and like what to kind of ask venues, like what do you have, what do you supply, and like how to kind of create that professionalism, because I feel like there's a gap, like a lot of venues lack professionalism in that aspect. So it's kind of like our job as artists to email and like demand what we want to have a successful show, because you know sometimes they're just not gonna offer it to you because they just don't care, you know. And it sucks because like sometimes it feels like as local artists they don't, you know, prioritize us as much as touring, because we might not have booking agents or promoters, like we might be, you know, putting on our own shows. And so it's just, but there's still steps that we can do and like things we can ask for to have a good show. So anyways, he kind of goes more into depth with it. And then sometimes there's like music swap Mondays too. So like after the presentation, everyone will kind of share their songs and like you can, you know, talk to each other about the songs, like what do you think, like get feedback on your demos essentially. And so that's really helpful. And then sometimes he even has guest speakers too. So like other artists can kind of share, like basically what Cam Franklin did, you know, like, but more in a presentation form and more of like a Q&A format. So really it's just like so helpful. Like I've met other artists, I've met venue owners. I've met like all sorts of people there, and I've also met a lot of great people here too. I remember the very first meeting that I went to here, like my huge complaint was like, I don't know how to get a show, like I don't know how to book it, I just want to play, like can someone help me? And then I ended up getting like a lot of shows just by me like being up here explaining like the kind of music I do and like what kind of shows I want to play, and then I started getting approached. So I mean, it's so helpful just to like say what you're looking for and just kind of like seeking it out and just talking about it. And yeah, so Wonky Power, that's another. And then on Tuesdays they do open mic nights at Axelrad, so you can actually play and get feedback, and you know, it's a lot of like good camaraderie going on over there. So
Okay, on that note, I want to bring up the reason why we're all here. Quinn Bishop is the owner of this award-winning and nationally recognized music store that's been here for over 40 years. Now, I've known Quinn for maybe a couple of decades.
Yeah, for sure. For certain, and many of you as well. Well, good evening, everyone. I just want to thank everybody for being here. It's been a delight to host the event. I want to commend the advisory board for their work on your behalf. And it's been exciting to have this dialogue here at the store. You know, we really get to know you when your project is finished and you bring it to us to really get it in the hands of people and maybe host it in store. So this is very cool to see everybody here. And we want to thank you for almost 50 years of business. Next year will be our 50th anniversary. And it really does. I feel like we've seen so many genres and so many really amazing artists come out of this city. And listening to all of you tonight really just reaffirms that confidence that that tradition will continue. And I think it's a great acknowledgement from the city that there is remarkable artistry here. And so anyway, thanks for being here. It was fun. It was great to be a fly on the wall and listen to all of you speak. The downside is I have to let you know that we have to clear that parking lot by 9 o'clock, or you will spend a big part of your evening down by St. Arnold, which I want to thank them for providing the beverages for us tonight. So. And I think that's it. But thanks again for coming out. Thank you. Thanks for letting us host.
So on that note, it sounds like we've got about a few minutes just to network. I know that there's a lot of new faces here tonight, and happy to see that, and a lot of familiar faces. So let's exchange some information. Bless you. And just thanks again for coming. Oh, and a last note, Chill Burgers is across the street. They close at 9 also. I know, I had one earlier. Thank you guys.